Welcome back, friends and family. Thank you again for joining me. This hairstyle is versatile, it's beautiful and elegant, and you get to allow your scalp to breathe and just enjoy the warm summer air. Yes. So I hope you like it. Stay tuned.
So this is the end product that you're looking at. The braids that I did for my daughter. It didn't take long at all. They're elegant and they're versatile. You can wear them for any occasion, and you don't have to worry too much about them. This is a hair piece that I used. It was an outre hair piece, and I used color 2. I think I used about maybe a full pack or almost a full pack. I cut it in 2, or maybe a third. I don't remember. I did actually. I cut it in a third, in 3, in 3 sections, and then I did the stretching out so that the ends of the braids are not abrupt and they're tapered. So as you can see, I started the individual braids at the back of her hair. At the front, I sectioned it into 3 sections. You have the 2 at the sides above the ears, and then you have the one in the middle at the crown. So it's almost like 3 squares, if you will. And I'm going to show you how I braided those. That's the easiest way. The one thing I focus on for all the braids that I do, whether for myself or for anyone else, is that the edges remain protected. I don't braid starting from front to back, pulling the edges backwards, because of the experience that I've had with my edges. I know even if edges aren't delicate, they can still thin out over time. So I make sure that with all these braids, I protect the edges. Hence this kind of hairstyle where I have sectioned, the sides and then the crown, so that I can braid it in a sweeping motion from the temple down towards the ear and then back. And that's how I did this hairstyle. The crown, you will see what I do with that later. I either can braid it backwards or forwards. I prefer to braid it forwards because then that is easier again on the edges, as opposed to braiding it back where you're pulling it backwards. Although that part of the edge, at the front, in front of the crown, is easier to maintain. It doesn't seem to thin as quickly or as easily as the side edges that are, a little beyond your eyes, like to the side or above your ears. So I'm about to start parting, just cleaning up that section of the back there where I'm going to continue doing the individual braids at that back section. So I just clipped that away, and it's just the front 3 sections that I'm going to be doing the cornrows. Okay, so that's basically the hairstyle that I'm doing. At the front you have the cornrows, and at the back and just a little beyond the crown is where I have the individual braids. As you can see, my daughter's hair is 4C, and therefore you need a lot of TLC when you're combing that kind of hair. You do it very gently. You can see from her face that she's not in pain or anything at all, because I make sure that I do this very gently. So now that all that is detangled, I'm going to start with the very first cornrow, and that's all the hair that came out from all the sections that I have parted and combed. So I'm making sure that the edges are properly detangled, and I'm using the rat tail comb to make the lines. It's just easier that way to use a rat tail comb. You can use any comb that you have that can make a part. I prefer the plastic rat tail comb. I also have a rat tail comb that has a metal end, and I use it for a different thing, but for my daughter's hair I usually prefer to use the plastic rat tail comb. So I've done my first section, and I'm clipping the rest of the hair away so that it stays out of my way. I'm detangling one more time. She's busy watching a movie or something, so she's not even paying attention to what I'm doing to her hair. But it's pretty late. I think it's about 10 p.m. or something. We're trying to finish the hair before midnight because I have to do her sister's hair the next day, so we're just trying to get this squared away. So yeah, that is the batch of hair that I what do you call it when you try to make the ends taper so that they're not abrupt. So that's the batch of hair that I did that too, and I'm about to start that very first braid. Now I make sure that the hair amount of what do you call it, amount of extension that I use is not very thick for that first cornrow at the edge, because I want to pull her hair as little as possible. You know what I mean? The thicker, for me, I feel like the thicker the hair piece, the more you pull her hair to just stay in the hairpiece, because the hairpiece is such a big bunch. So when I make the hairpiece a smaller amount, I'm able to hold her hair better and easier. I don't have to struggle with a bunch of hair in my hands. So you can see from her face it's expressionless. There's no pain. I just make sure that I am not making this tight, because those edges have to stay, okay? My edges I am struggling with right now. I don't want my kids to have that problem. And it's pretty quick, you know. So I just make that like a quarter of a circle kind of braid from the temple to, from the temple down towards the ear to the back of the head. And that's it. And I'm going to follow that same pattern for the rest of the braids there as well. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to do the feed in method. So I add pieces as I go until I get to the length that she wants, and she wanted this at waist length. So I was doing the feed in method, and it's a shame I didn't have the camera facing the right way for you to see. I do it pretty often for her though, so next time I do it, I'll make sure that I'm able to capture it properly. But as you can see, I put some blue hair in there. Yes, she likes blue and purple, so that's what I did. I added that for her. And as you can see, it's not a very thick strand of braid, right? Because again, it is about versatility. It's about not weighing her hair or her head down with thick and heavy braids. She wants to be able to swim with this and not have the hair feeling heavy with the water. You know what I mean? So I made sure that the braids aren't ridiculously thick and heavy. And I'm not making a whole bunch of little braids there. With this hairstyle, you can make the braids tiny if you want to, or you can make them medium size, which is what I'm doing, or you can make them big. It's up to you. It still looks good either way. Okay, so that's your choice in the size of the braids that you want to make it. So I'm going to rush through this because it's not a big deal. I think there are many tutorials there how to do cornrows. So there are many tutorials on the internet on how to do cornrows. So I'm not exactly showing you how I do the cornrow. I am just showing you that style and how I achieved the style and some of the things that I took into consideration when doing this style regarding the edges and the weight of the hairpiece and things like that. And the outre hair piece is actually quite light. It is one of my favorites to use for braiding. And again, I make sure I'm not braiding it too tightly. Actually, I'm not braiding it tightly at all, as you can see from her face. She might as well be snoozing right now, because I make sure that I don't braid tightly. We want to keep the hair on her head, right? So I follow the same curve right there as I go down toward her ear, and then I bend towards the back. And that's exactly how I do the rest of the hair on this side, as well as the exact opposite side. So once I'm done with this side and then the other side, I decided, as I mentioned before, to braid the top crown part forward. I did not put any extensions at the top because she wants a bang, and her hair is perfect at the length that it is. As you can see right here, her hair is just perfect for bangs right there with the braid. So I did not add any extensions to those braids, those cornrows in the front at the crown, because they're a great length for the style that she wants. And so you can see the size of the braids just beyond the crown. They're not tiny braids, and they're not huge braids. They're just right. She has a small head, and I want to make sure that her head, again, is not weighed down by braids, because she's going to be swimming a lot with this, and I don't want her hair to feel heavy. And also, of course, going to church and going to play dates and, going out, her hair needs to look nice. We were going to a wedding soon after this, so her hair was nice and fresh and elegant. You can hold the back in a ponytail if you want to, make a bun with it, and it's just perfect. Perfect for any kind of occasion that you want to rock this style for. So that's me finishing that last braid right there. And as this hairstyle gets older, it looks even better because the lines are filled in a little bit. And to me, it looks better. So the lines aren't so exposed, and her scalp, still gets fresh air. And here we go. She is all done. And probably ready to take a nap right now. Not a nap, actually, because by now I think it was about 11 o'clock or 11:30. So the hair is done. Here we go. She's turning around. Yep, that's it.
So ladies and gentlemen, that's all that I have. I pray that you have a blessed week, okay? Thank you, and see you again soon in the very next video. Bye.